Hello, everybody. How are ya?
Emily, welcome everybody to the World of Ability Podcast Network. My name is Emily Gulmer and a podcast engineer here, and I'm excited to bring you another episode of Let's Be Trees with Sherry Wallace, which is all about the funeral reform industry. Let's bring in Sherry to kick us off here.
Thank you, Emily. And thank you for helping me every week. It is always fun. And I am Sherry Wallace, and I am here to talk about how we can reform the funeral industry from profit to nonprofit. And it's simple. It's so simple. A caveman can do it. I keep telling everybody we're just going to return to our grandparents' ways of handling death care. And what they did was they went around town and they got $1.10 from everybody out there. They opened a community center and they had a graveyard. And that was it. There were no other costs. If you wanted flowers, you picked them. If you wanted a pine box, you made one, or you had somebody build it. The fact of the matter is, though, that if we come together like a society, we can transform the way that at least our members do funerals. And back in the day, we didn't call a Nana died, you didn't call the funeral home, you had it at your house. And if you couldn't have it at your house for whatever reason, you had little kids or whatever, then you had it at your grandparents or at the church or at the cemetery or at the bowling alley, whatever floats your boat. The days of calling funeral homes to charge you six, 10, $15,000 can be over. And that's what we're suggesting that we do. And we have a property located in Macon, North Carolina, just north of Raleigh, Durham, Wake Forest area, within about 150 miles of 2 million or so people. And we are in the process of crowdfunding for that property. So come August, we'll be able to sign a lease, get into the property, have events, and have 1 year to raise. We've set the bar at $5 million. So the property's 3.2 million. And we're wanting to raise $5 million so that we have some money to work with. And that'll put us at 50,000 members at $100 each. And that'll give us $5 million. So then we could open the cemetery, actually purchase it together as a nonprofit cemetery society. It's not owned by me, it's not owned by you, but owned by the society together. And then we would have our first, the country's first nonprofit cemetery society that is positioning itself to go nationwide. And I have found some wonderful people in very short order of time. One of them is Alice Zhang from San Diego, San Francisco, California, and she is a publisher, and she's got connections all over the country. And so, Emily, let's bring Alice in to come say hey. I met Alice on a Lineable a couple of days ago. Emily, are you there?
Hey, I can't spite audio without her camera being on, but you'll be
Okay.
able to hear her.
Okay, I got it. Hi, how are ya? Thank you so much, Sherry. That was so amazing. Everything you said means so much. It was so clear that each family member would be able to just spend $100 and have an amazing burial along with an amazing community. I think that's what the entire country needs because when we go through grieving processes, we love to have a community around us, and that means the world to all of the families that are going through grief.
Right? So I'm we're talking about grief and I've got this big smile on my face. That's kind of weird, but I'm smiling because of who you are and what what you bring to the table with this with your excitement for this project. And I'll 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 go ahead and share this. Alice is a publisher for Pacific Heights neighborhoods, and she works with a group of. Hey, you tell the story. Tell the story,
Yes,
Alice.
ma'am.
Yes, you do it. You'll do it better than me.
Sorry, I was so excited about what you said. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Alice Zane. I'm the publisher of a magazine in San Francisco. The name of the publication is Pacific Heights Neighbors. So my magazine goes out to about 2,500 homeowners in Pacific Heights. It's a beautiful part of San Francisco with a lot of nice people. I love connecting people, and especially when I see worthy endeavors, I would love to do everything I could to make sure that people get to know it and it gets to come into fruition.
And so Alice introduced me to Lori today, and tomorrow I'm being interviewed for the front cover of her sister magazine that covers our territory here in North Carolina and has a rather large publication, I guess is the word. And then where that went from there, which is so exciting, is that they have 1,300 of these publications across the country. And the working concept going into this is that where they have publications, we would open societies there in that state and start working that state. So it the most exciting part about this is that it's not just for North Carolina. That one of the reasons why this has taken me so long to hone in is because I wanted to make sure it was something that we could do all across the country. And it is. And so the concept now is to find a board of directors for every state. And once you have 4 members, 4 people that would volunteer to be a board, then we can start searching for possible members and then land property uh to make it happen. And it's that easy. Just find It's that easy. And then Alice's publishers will get us out there in every state. It's absolutely so easy. A caveman can do it. Speaking of cavemen, what are you doing over there, John? I'm kidding. John Petros Sr. is a wonderful human being that as soon as I told him about this project, he said, I'll help you. Well, of course, I was kind of pitiful too, wasn't I, John? I was like, John, there's no money. We're doing this out of love. Let's just save the planet out of love. And John said, I'll help.
Yep, I did. I don't know why, but I did. That's just how I am. Help people make this country better. It's the name of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, the system isn't going to fix itself, is it, John?
No, it's definitely not. No, not at all.
Yeah, I came to realize that when my dad said that in 1950, when his father died, my grandmother had to give up the family car to bury her husband. And she was pregnant with the 13th child. And I start thinking, okay, now my grandmother is walking with 13 children. So then a few years ago, my sister does a GoFundMe to bury her husband. This isn't going to stop. And I said this before, I'll say it again. People say, don't be so hard on the industry.
It
It's
will be.
personal.
I know a couple of funeral directors, and they're not going to be too happy with me when they find out what I'm involved with. But it's. I mean, they are overcharging. I know that, and a lot of people know that. That's why a lot of people nowadays are opting out to do cremations, and people need to go through and see and figure out, or just research and see how they actually do cremations. And I think it will change the way they look at it.
I've been saying, well, you're very right, John. And it's like 450 pounds of carbon for every body, for every human that is cremated. So it's kind of so you're going to die and you're going to pollute the earth on your way out. It really, let's do one good thing, not that that's the only thing that anybody ever did, but
I'll give you another example too. They do the same thing with pets. I've lost a couple of pets. I actually have their ashes up on the wall in the next room. Um, they give you two options. They can do cremation for a pet by itself and charge you so much, or if it's too much, they'll charge you a little bit less, and they'll do like, say, 5 pets at the same time. The problem doing 5 pets at a time, what ashes are they giving you? Because they end up all mixed in together.
yeah, I still say, and that's very real, John. I shouldn't just change the subject, but I'm gonna, because you know how my brain goes. Uh, Cremation's boring if you can be a Viking.
Yeah.
I am so big on getting, Alice, what do you know about getting legislation changed? We need to petition every state except Colorado. They already have it. We want to get Viking burials, Indian burials, outdoor cremations legal.
Green burials.
Well, yeah, green burials, but there's a lot of people who would be a Viking. They'd go out just like a Viking if they could, rather than a cremation. And as far as I'm concerned, if we do it right, it'd be less money than a cremation. What do we need? A cord of wood, a half a cord of wood, and some accelerant, and a boat with some lining, some kind of steel, aluminum, some kind of lining in it. And that's it. It's less money and way cooler than a cremation and something that I don't know. I just don't like the idea of cremation,
No,
especially that it costs money.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Come on in, Alice. Come talk to us.
Sorry about that. No, I totally hear you. I think it's a swell idea. I really do think so. I think the difference between cremation and the Viking burial is that because a cremation is in a sort of in an contained area, so whatever that comes out of the process doesn't actually go into the atmosphere. because whatever comes out, it's going to have to go back onto the earth, and then it's going to have to go back into our environment. So that's probably the concern why they're having uh, current some sort of restrictions about that the Viking burial. But other than that, I think it's a really cool idea. And you know what I love about what you said earlier? I remember you telling me that we can all be trees. When a loved one passes on, we could actually have them become a tree where we can go to the tree and be with them and know that they're there, and they're going to keep growing just like when they were alive. And we can always go visit them just like we did when they were alive. I think that is absolutely amazing and powerful as well.
I love the idea of being able to be a tree with my family. Though I'd probably pick someone outside my family, but not everyone's that way. But you could be a tree with your wife, John. Alice, with your kids. You guys could have your family tree. One of the coolest parts of this concept is for one of our fundraisers. I want to sell seedlings, so little 2-foot seedling, and you've purchased your family tree and you keep it safe and warm in your home until it gets to a point that we need to plant it, and we have a society in your state. So then you bring the tree to the society or wherever you want to be buried, if it's in your backyard. But we could have a fundraiser with the family trees. Mm-hmm.
I think that's also very cool. When we talked about that earlier, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Sherry mentioned that people and families can also choose a tree when their family member passes on and choose to plant that tree on the land of their choice once they become a member, and so they can watch that tree grow, take care of it, come visit it, and make sure it's healthy and strong. Is that part of the plan?
Yes. So we'll section off areas for each family or person, and they can be a tree or whatever is designated for that state, native plants to that state. So it might be a lilac hydrangea. That's what my Uncle Greg wanted to be. He didn't want to be an oak tree. He was like, I'd be a lilac hydrangea. I said, all right, Uncle Greg. He's going to be a
Love
lilac
that.
hydrangea too. It'd be the first bush I plant. Mm. All right. Well, Alice, have you got anything else to lend to this party?
I think we just continued to have a conversation ever since yesterday. It was almost nonstop because I think this is such a great thing that I feel like the entire country can benefit from that. Like Sherry said, because the funeral cost currently all across the country is so expensive, and then I just, the more she talks about it, the more I love the idea. I think it's well thought out. And there's, of course, different things that, there's different possibilities. But at the end of the day, it's a well thought out project. It's a worthy endeavor, and it's going to benefit all of America, sometimes even Canada as well. If one day, you guys choose to, expand in Canada, yeah, this is something that we need because our generations are growing. Our families have that need. Like Cher said, if there's a family of 10, each member would, be looking at a tremendous cost, and that is money, fortune, wealth they could actually use for their next generations as well. And who wouldn't want their family members to come visit them, share their stories with other families. And so everybody can know what they have done, the great things they have done, the triumphs, the victories, the heartbreaks, all those wonderful things. So I would love to bring it to California one day. Just because I think it's going to benefit our population tremendously as well.
Oh, I haven't looked up California's rates out there, but I can imagine they're amongst the highest in the country. And unfortunately, even the green burial grounds, like they're popping up everywhere, but there's still $4,000 to get in, every one of them. And that, that kind of burns me up too. So where's the benefit in going green if it's the exact same cost as any other cemetery? You might as well be buried in town with your family, you know, especially if you can get them not to make you have to do embalming and the concrete vault and the metal casket. If you could get the, you know what I mean? So that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of why I'm here, is because even the green cemeteries were too expensive, in my opinion. Now, I mean, when you can get by with $100, anything more
Yeah.
than that's too expensive. How about you, John? What are you thinking?
No, yep, perfectly right. You're right on cue. It is really expensive. I know I've been through quite a few of them. I got relatives that struggle trying to pay for a funeral nowadays, and it's just getting ridiculous. Uh, there's, I don't know. It's got to be stopped. They just keep going up and up in the prices. Granted, everything goes up, but
The land that they own doesn't go up. But they raise it with the price of inflation.
yeah, some some places have tried unsuccessfully, believe it or not. Wait till you hear this one. Charge taxes to the individual people in the cemeteries.
The thought makes me nauseated that there's people that can't afford to die. And I know that there are families that don't claim they're dead. It's like, oh, Uncle Billy died, don't say nothing, state's going to take care of him. And now they can't even get their cremated remains. It's inhumane. It's inhumane. And thinking about these poor ladies, I don't know. Ever since I realized that people were being forced to cremate their loved ones because they couldn't afford to bury them, then this thought of this old lady in a nursing home, and what if it's me, and I don't want to be cremated, right? And I don't want to be a Viking either, but I don't want to be cremated. Actually, I want to be a magnolia tree, so everybody knows. I want to be a magnolia tree with a couple of my girlfriends, my friends. Anyway, yeah, I think about these little old ladies sitting at a nursing home, or whatever, and they don't have the money to do anything but be cremated, but they don't want to be cremated, but that's all they can get. You can't have anything else, Miss Nana. You got to be cremated. I mean, who does that to people, much less old people? How do you tell Nana that? Hey, Nana, you can't be buried because we don't have enough money.
Yeah.
How do you
Can't
tell a wife? How do you tell a mother? Hey, we can't put your baby in the ground because you don't have enough. You can buy that cardboard box over there and we can cremate him. How about that?
I think that's a very, very real question. Even much parts of California is experiencing right now because everybody thinks California is rich. But half of the state's population is not rich. So yeah, a lot of people could definitely benefit from that. In our land price, I was thinking, like you mentioned earlier, if 1,000 people share an acre, that would be 100,000. That would be a price that we can actually acquire land with, knowing what I know about California real estate. So it is definitely not impossible, although it won't be as profitable. But if since this is not for profit, I feel like this can actually come true with enough work. So yeah,
And with when as the project gets out there, you're gonna have corporations that are gonna say, heck yeah. Eh, they're gonna donate. They can write it off. They've been donating uh for the communities forever anyway. So I know that this is going to happen in every state. And every day that goes by, I'm meeting more and more and more people who, like yourself, Alice and John, that are just, this makes so much sense. It just makes too much sense to fail. I love what David said a few weeks ago. He said, what did he say, John? He said, Occam's razor, the simplest solution is normally right. And this is the simplest solution. It's so simple. I've been saying a caveman could do it. In fact, we're going to do a commercial on that. So simple, a caveman can do it.
He's working on the drawing for that too.
Oh, is he your guy?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome. Christian really loved that. Also, he liked the idea of the. We'll get into that again. So, is everybody good for today? It's 4:30. I think we've been on here almost 25 minutes, 38 minutes. So, or no, that's the whole show. Whatever. Anyway, does anybody else have anything else? Alice, John, what have you got?
Anybody who listens to this podcast, take it to heart. Get involved.
We got a spot for them,
definitely,
don't
I
we,
agree.
John?
Oh, we do.
Awesome. I agree 100%. I think this is one of the most worthy endeavors that I have seen in the last year, at least. So I'm really excited about it. Just doing the right thing by the country and by the people. That's the only thing that matters, especially in this day and age. So, yeah, I'm excited. I do have a meeting that I have to run to, but it's so great to meet you guys today. And let's keep in touch and get this going.
Thank you so much, Alice. Thank you, John.
I'll be
Emily, you
connecting
want to,
with you, Alice.
what's that, John?
Alice, I'll be connecting with you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
Thank you both. Emily, you want
Thank
to,
you.
Well, thank you everybody for coming. We are here every Friday at 3 o'clock p.m. Central. So if anybody is looking to be a guest on the show, please let us know and we can get that taken care of. So please check out our social media, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and so on. And thank you to our partners of Marcus Startup Transforming Media, Lawrence Wingate of Wingate Studios, Zach Clayton of the Tech Channel, and Jay Stoyan of the Disability Channel for their support of the network and our shows, playing them. But yes, until next week, have a safe and productive week and to stay happy.